No, my mum's in hospital. She's got COPD. They've got some sort of, they feel she's got some sort of turbo TB thing on her lung. I've gone in today. I've been looking after her for like 10 days straight in the hospital. She seems to be slightly improving today. She was slightly improving yesterday. And then when I've not been there today, they forcibly have took bloods out of her wrong arm because she have lymph nodes missing while she's been asleep. And she's moaned to me about it. I've gone to explain to the nurse, and she said, "Yeah, we're sorry about that." And now they've ended up trying to take those bloods and pretend using it as a reason to go and give her a blood transfusion or something. So I've had to leave the hospital. The security was called. They didn't force me out, but I didn't. I just feel like I can't help my mum because no one's taking my point on, you know. So the only thing I can do is come on here, do a jigsaw for my mum in support of her and hope everything's all right and she does all right and I'm going to be fine no matter what happens with my mum. I've gone through so much stuff in the last 7 or 8 years, people, that I can't tell you what I've been through. Some things you just can't say. It's caused me a lot of fear and a lot of worry and a lot of stress, and I finally have got home to my family, my mum, my dad, my brother, my 2 children, and now all of a sudden my mum's in hospital and they're trying to push tests on her and do blood transfusions that she don't even need, but they're using her as a coherent person to answer yes or no, and she's not coherent. So I'm just doing a prayer for her so everything goes all right for her. No matter what happens with my mum, I'm fine. I'm a strong person now. I'm not going anywhere. I've just reconnected with my 2 kids and my parents and all that. Doesn't matter what happens, I'm not going anywhere. Do you know what I mean? And I mean that in any other way. Do you know what I mean? I got some history in my medical stuff, which I've beat all that. I got a never give up attitude. I'm never giving up, no matter what. And I'm not going to give up from my mum either, or my kids, or anyone. So I just want to put that up out there. And I'm going to try and complete this jigsaw in a kind of way, like to, you know, help my mum, you know? Because I'm a bit worried about her, because the staff today have been horrible. Absolutely horrible. Vile. It's New Year's Day and they've forced some blood test on my mum when she was asleep because they know they won't get permission, you know, from me, and my brother and my dad have COVID, so they can't go in, and they're just treating me like I'm non-existent, you know. I mean, mum seems a little bit better today, so I don't think she needs anything. Plus I spoke to a nutritionist yesterday and I spoke to a doctor yesterday that seemed to be like, we can maybe start looking at getting a room. And then all of a sudden I've gone in today, they've took some secret bloods out of her wrong arm, and then they've tried to say that these markers are high. Oh, we might need to do blood transfusion. So I've got no say in it. I'm really frustrated, so I've had to leave the hospital. So whatever happens with my mum, I love her and I will never give up, and my mum never give up. I've never seen a woman fight so much, you know what I mean? I'm still not giving up. I'm being positive. I want to put positivity out there for my mum. Everything's going to be fine. No matter what, I'm strong. I'm super strong. I'm not going anywhere. So I am a bit worried, I'll admit that. But so just make sure my mic's on before I talk anymore. See if my mic's on. Yeah, my mic's on. Cool. Yeah, so yeah, I thought I'd do a jigsaw for her, maybe manifest her health, you know, everything goes fine, you know. I've definitely been super treated bad today, people. My mum's been treated not well in there either. I've just took a complaints form, so depending on what happens with my mum today, I will be taking other actions, you know. The disgusting treatment they've given me today. I've had one doctor smirking at me when I'm talking to him, and he's, as soon as he's got what he wanted out of my mum, they've locked me out of the room so I can't be a part of the blood test, you know, to help her calm down. They wouldn't give her any pain relief to help her with the blood test because my mum's got wobbly veins and it's very hard for her to take bloods. And she said, I'm not having any more bloods done, Rich. I'm not having any more bloods done. Do you know what I mean? And I'm there just trying to say, can you give her some Oromol, which is like a morphine thing, to give her some pain relief? This guy is in such a rush to take these bloods, they wouldn't even give my mum pain relief. Do you know what I mean? And they locked me out of the cubicle so I couldn't watch. Do you know what I mean? And hold her hand or anything like that. Like, they were very horrible. So I'm going to sit here and do the best I can for my mum, make a jigsaw. Because being there is useless for me because I've got no say. They're treating me like shit in there. So I'm hoping my mum's going to be okay. I'm being positive, trusting the universe, trying to, do you know what I mean? Trying to trust God, trying to trust myself, trying to manifest something off of a jigsaw, you know? And whatever, doing for my mum I am for this. No matter what happens, I'm a super strong person now, so I can handle anything. And as I said, my brother and my dad's got COVID, so they can't go in there and do anything. They're not seeing what I'm seeing. the way my mum's being treated in there, which is horrible. She keeps telling me what they're doing. My mum's one of these people, she's like an empathic person, yeah? She's a sensitive person, a kind person, yeah? So if you stand on her feet 6 times in one day, she won't say nothing to you, but she'll say it to me. That's what they did one day in there. They stood on her feet 6 times. She got edema of the feet, so her feet are really swollen, and they stood on them 6 times. And she told me, so I obviously brought that up. I didn't actually bring that up, I let that slide. The first thing I let slide. And then they kept her awake one night, and then they stressed her out so she gets out of breath. They use that as an excuse to do an x-ray. I can go and make her get out of breath to give her them an excuse to give her an x-ray. They've given her two x-rays in the space of 4 days, which she didn't want, do you know what I mean? And they're using her as like the, yes, we can do whatever we want to you, June, as long as you say yeah. And she's not coherent, and it's hard to be there and not have a say in your own mum's care. She doesn't want things like that done. If you take the time, she's deaf as well, she can only hear partially in one ear. And they don't care about any of that stuff. They just want to do whatever they can do. I've heard of a thing, so say my mum's problem with her lung is only 9 people have it. There's only 9 known cases. So somebody can make a lot of money if they can figure out how to cure this thingy. Do you know what I mean? That she's got in her lung. So, hello Ryan. My mum's in hospital, mate, and they've just kind of like, I've had to leave because the security was called. So I'm coming on here to do a jigsaw for my mum to help her in whatever way I can here, because I can't help her there because they won't let me do anything. They're just like, I don't know, without saying it in a more exposy way. The NHS is not the NHS that it should be, people. What I've witnessed in my time and what I've witnessed the last 7 to 10 days that I've been in that hospital watching my mum's care be absolutely dreadful. So I'm sitting here still being positive. But I just think I just needed to do something because I can't sit there and watch them use my mum as, she's like a zombie. She'll say yes to like, if you told her it was Monday, she'll say, is it Monday, is it? You know what I mean? If you told her that, it's all I'm getting out of her, like, oh, it's just, so they're using her to say yes to whatever test they want to do. And they're taking tests off of her when she's asleep, out of the wrong arm. Do you know what I mean? So I'm sitting here because I'm like getting pissed off, so... And I don't want to get banned from the hospital, so I'm going to go back in a bit. I just thought I'd come here and try and do a jigsaw. I've done these things before to try and, whatever, if you know what I mean. So that's why I'm here. I've been very badly treated today by the hospital staff, very badly. And they're not even regular staff, they're just like what they call bank staff, people that just kind of float around when somebody's not on shift. So, do you know what I mean? And once again, she's not been treated very well over the evening when I've not been there. So, and I'm all getting like pissed off, because they're doing stuff. It's pointless. What's the point of being the son of somebody, having blood relations, your mum bringing you up, all you want to do is what is good for your mum, and they won't let you do anything. They're just controlling everything by getting my mum to say yeah, and she's out of her face, you know what I mean? She's incoherent. Sometimes she's on morphine, not a massive dose, but she's just not right in the head, you know what I mean? And they're using her to get what they want out of her. Do you know what I mean? And it's just frustrating me because my hands are tied. It's almost like you're in a cell and you can't do nothing to help your mum, and it's frustrating for me. So I needed to come home and maybe try and do a jigsaw for her. You know what I mean? I'm still being positive. I've got a never give up attitude now. I won't give up no matter what. So one of the security guards was really nice, but none of the staff were. And the one that was trying to rush the bloods and do all this stuff and try and get a blood transfusion done and all this stuff, he's disappeared straight away. And he was smirking when I was talking to him. When I was saying, look, it's my mum, right? And, she's not able to answer what you want her to do. And I think she's a little bit better today. You shouldn't have took bloods, I'm just trying to stick up for my mum like any son would. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to sit here and try and be positive, even though there's a slight bit of negativity in there. We're going to be positive, and I'm going to pray for my mum while I'm doing a jigsaw. So, just wanted to put it out there. I put things like this on the internet before, and I kind of delete them and I privatize them and stuff like that because I feel I'm going to get in trouble or whatever. This one I'm not going to delete. I'm not going to privatize. This one's staying up. So. Yeah, I'm hoping, mate, but the way they acted today, they're just, it's not the NHS that the country deserves, you know what I mean? It's not the NHS the country deserves. A lot of people work hard in this country, and when they do get ill, you should get good treatment and good care and be treated like a human being. And I've been treated like... I don't want to say too much because I don't want to put negativity out there. I've been treated bad, and I've watched her be treated bad. Well, I've not watched her be treated bad because she gets treated bad at night, and she tells me in the morning. Do you know what I mean? What they do. So I'm all I can do is say, look, what's happening last night? Why did this happen? Why have you got an X-ray off of Mum? Oh, she was really out of breath. Yeah, because you stressed her out. She asked 5 of your staff for a drink. She's got a dry mouth. She's got oxygen. You know what I mean? So she gets really dry mouths and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, and she got COPD, so she breathes much more than anybody else does. You know, much more breaths. So it's going to dry your mouth out, and she needs a drink, and you stressed her out all night long by not giving her a drink, and you use that as an excuse to give her an X-ray. Do you know what I mean? And then they've made another excuse to give her an X-ray 2 days later. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard, you know. So especially when you're a son. If I was, I don't know, a cousin, I don't really have much say. You know what I mean? But I'm her son, and I've been missing for 7 years. I've just got back to her, and I want to help my mum and look after her. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I was trying to do. Yeah, and it's just not nice. The staff I had yesterday were nice. I had some very positive feedback from the staff. They said my mum's not well. I get that. She can't live forever. I understand that. We can't live forever, people. I get that. Do you know what I mean? But they were going to do her nutrition so she had more energy in her food, you know, so she could breathe. Because when you breathe, you'd be surprised it uses up a lot of energy because you breathe so much. And then today, I go in and it's a totally different story. Do you know what I mean? Oh, she's really ill and all that. Like, why have you took bloods of her? Well, who takes bloods out of a person when they're asleep? You stick needles into a person's arm. They know her right arm don't... Is it her right arm or left? Her left arm is not the place to take bloods from her. She's got no lymph nodes or something, and so they don't do it. And all of a sudden, she's asleep. They've tried taking bloods out of her. Do you know what I mean? And then they've used that to make some sort of transfusion thing or some shit. And I've got no say. You know what I mean? And I'm the only one there in my family that's watching this shit. You know what I mean? So I've come home to do a jigsaw for my mum, basically. And a prayer. I'm not embarrassed about praying and stuff like that, people. I'm not having a very good time with this jigsaw, am I? Right, the square button makes it bigger, doesn't it? Right, I get it. So we want the flames. I'm going to cheat here until I get some cheeky pieces in. But I'm alright, I won't give up. No matter what happens, I will not give up. I've gone through hell for more than a decade. You won't knock me down. I will stay up. So I thought I'd put that out there as well. I'm not going anywhere, baby. Do. I've got 2 kids I just got back to, and I'm having a life with my bloody kids. Right. I'm so bad at this. Oh my gosh, everything's the same! Oh my gosh, I picked the wrong jigsaw. I thought because I had the moon, I've got a bit of a connection with the moon, so I thought I'd pick the moon one. Now look at it, everything looks the same. Do you know what I mean? Except for the fire and the moon. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I'm a bit... So... Why didn't I do a simpler one? I'm going to do it all for me, Mum, anyway. Once you get a few pieces, it gets a bit easier. So... How are you anyway, Ryan? How's things with you, mate? How's things going with you, buddy? Can't believe that doctor was smiling when I'm like saying, come on, man, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? And just smiling. You could see him smirking. And then he walked out the building. As soon as he got what he wanted, he walked out the door. Fucked off. That is not the NHS this country deserves, people. But you got banned on your main. How come? What did you do, Mr. Ryan? Oh my gosh. This is a weird piece. What did you do, Mr. Ryan? Oh, right, you didn't get a reason. Oh, I don't know, mate. I had a warning one night. You know, some guy was being an idiot in Apex, and then he was... I returned fire. Do you know what I mean? He was calling me names, so I called him names back. And then the other guy who wasn't even speaking, all of a sudden tried sticking up for this other guy. So hang on, this guy's been taking the piss out of me and my kids. You know what I mean? He was doing all this shit, saying about my kids. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I just kind of retaliated, and then he got me into a conversation afterwards, and he used me. In other words, he wound me up to get me to say the F word. Do you know what I mean? So I said the F word, and then he used it to what did he call it? Send a thingy to PlayStation, and I had a warning. Do you know what I mean? So he blatantly was trying to wind me up to get what he wanted out of me, so he could fucking do that. You know what I mean? That's all I know. Yeah, see what I mean? Sounds like that, mate. You got the same thing. Some people out there, some right dodgy people out there. I met a few of them today. So horrible the way they were today. Absolutely horrible. And then to leave as soon as you got what you wanted. Who've just walked out of the door with a smirk on his face. And like saying, please, man, it's my mum. I'm just trying to protect my mum, please. And he's just smirking. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Be positive, though, but... Doo-doo-doo. This is the way to do it. Cheat your way. Because I'm thinking about my mum. I want to be there, but I'm not going to watch my mum be pulled away from her bed to go and do something to her that she doesn't really want doing because she's not coherent enough to know what's going on. Do you know what I mean? And I can see that she's improving a little bit, you know? And they're just trying to make excuses. Apparently my mum's illness she has in her lung is related to tubercular TB. And it's a groundbreaking thing. If somebody cures it, or if somebody finds the cure for it, do you know what I mean? Somebody can make a lot of money out of it or something. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking, what are they up to here? Do you know what I mean? Get a lot of these doctors that more in for their careers than the patient. Do you know what I mean? So, but I'm going to try and be positive. Trying to be positive. Doing a negative again then. Positive from my mum. Mum. Everything's going to be good. Everything's going to be good. Everything's going to be good. Everything's going to be good, Mum. Come on, let me... There's a bird. Oh, it could be a bird down by the fire. Hi, Mom. Oh, dear. The lag on that game for me, Ryan, is just... It's a nightmare. I seen somebody post on the Virgin forums. Same problem I've got, and I actually replied. I said, look, dude, save yourself time. Go back to Sky. I've been having 2% packet loss on Apex for 3 years. It's never changed. They don't care. They won't fix it. You know what I mean? It's quarter of a second to half a second delay. Can't play to my full potential. And then immediately the thread got locked. I was like, all right, you don't like the truth being put on the Virgin forum, do you? Is it? Eh? Because I've been struggling with the Virgin Internet on Apex for 3 years, you know what I mean? And I've tried to get the engineers' hands are tied. They can see the issue I've got. They've visually seen it. I said, dude, I can only do what I can do, and it's up to them. Do you know what I mean? So, well, I hope Sky should be all right, I think. If I could get another internet company, I would, you know? Only reason I stayed with the V company was because of the upload, so I could stream. Do you know what I mean? But it's impossible to play Apex on it. It's not impossible. I can play, but it's not enjoyable. Where it would be a more enjoyable game for me if I wasn't lagging as much. Oh, that's nice, mate. That's fair enough. You got your own internet, haven't you? So. Oh, we got a flat one at last. Ain't giving me many flat ones, are you? Come on, Mum. Come on, Mum. I did my best for you. I tried. So. Come on. Positivity is the key. No matter what's going on, never give up, baby. Never give up. This goes round here somewhere. I can feel it. Feels like it should go there. Is it there? Where else? I've been feeding my mum organic kiwis to raise her potassium levels. I've been feeding my mum organic bananas to raise her potassium levels. I've been giving her... they stopped her vitamin D, which would help with her blood pressure. And they keep saying she's got high blood pressure, but they're stopping her vitamin D. And they wouldn't let her have potassium for a few days. And I've been giving her potassium now, because obviously that helps with your blood pressure. I've been doing what I can to give her the best chance possible in there. Do you know what I mean? Food-wise. They've been giving her food that she don't want. I tried to give her a soup last night. And she said, what is it? What is it? I said, it's lentil. I don't want that. I don't want that. Well, you know, why have you got it? You know, if you don't want it. You know what I mean? That's how incoherent my mum is. She doesn't know what food she's ordering. I don't want lentil soup. Do you know what I mean? So I managed to feed her a yogurt last night. Yogurt's good for you. It's got some cultures in it. Plus I've been giving her some live cultures. So... giving her some fruit salads and all that stuff. I did my best. I've done whatever I can for my mum. They just won't let me do anything. I don't know where this one goes. Over here somewhere? Let food be your medicine, people. It's in the Bible, and it's true. I had quite a few liver problems. Still got liver problems a little bit, do you know what I mean? But I had quite a few, and I've used food to help my liver, you know? Hence I was giving my mum bananas and kiwis, because potassium helps your blood flow. And she was having high blood pressure, and vitamin D, 20,000 U's will help that. And there's something else, vitamin K2. I was trying to give her that in there, you know. There's drinks in the hospital called Forticeps, and they're really good for you, and they're very small, and she can't eat much, she can't drink much, so it's really good for her. And they keep giving her the wrong flavour, so therefore she can't drink it, so it can't be good for her. Do you know what I mean? I've tried, you know what I mean? You tell them something and they say, yeah, we'll get back to you on that, and they don't get back, you know? I wanted to give her some ginseng. I wouldn't do it without permission. Some ginseng, which is supposed to be good for the lungs. And they said, because it's holistic or whatever, or herbal, it might interact with some drugs, you know, that she's already on. I was like, all right, fair enough. Yeah, that's fine. And I'll get back to you. Didn't get back to me. Never get back to you. They just blag you. Just blag you all the time. Just to get what they want, you know? So... we did some drawing. I gave her some drawing to do to be creative. She made a paper airplane yesterday. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't that bad. I think she overfolded it. It became a bit too small. But I'm not going to moan. Do you know what I mean? She put the effort in to do it. And then I go in today. And now they're like, she's saying, oh, she's really ill. She's really ill. We need to do this. We need to do that. And we need to get you out of the room so we can get permission off of your mum. Which I think is disgusting. I think that's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Forcing the son out of the room so you can get permission off of an incoherent woman. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to go in there today. I was going to play some games with her. Do you know what I mean? Because it's New Year's Eve. I wanted to play some games like it would be a New Year's Eve at home. And they've literally treated me like shit. Disgusting. Do. Right about here somewhere, isn't it? Where's this one go? Down here? What I'll do, Ryan, I'm going to put on the, I put my phone in front of me because I haven't got a chat window, so forgive me if I didn't reply, and my wires are a bit wound up. Never give up, people, no matter what's going on. I'm praying for me mum. Right. No matter what happens, I'm too strong now to give up. Too strong to give up, baby. You'll never knock me down. Do. I've done these before, and I always sort of delete them, you know, or privatize them. I'm not going to privatize this one. This is for my mum. Oh shit! I'm sat on my wire with my stool. Let's have a look. But my own, I have a perfect during games. Because we have two Wi-Fi's, I read that. But I have my own, so I have perfect during games. Yeah, personally, I think eating some fruit is better than some medicine. Yeah, totally agree, mate. Totally agree. Because the food has the minerals in the nutrients, you know what I mean? Which is what they kind of get the ideals for, like, you know what I mean? Like garlic is an antibiotic. Ginger is an antibiotic, I think. There's so many ways to treat yourself with food. Do you know what I mean? Which I've learned. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I had an issue with my liver, so I'd spent all my time learning about what's good for the liver, what's not good for the liver, and then I avoided the stuff that was bad, and I put the stuff that was good. Do you know what I mean? And the same thing can happen with the lungs, COPD. There's so many like things like antibiotics or stuff that can help your. What did I learn the other day about the lungs? Because obviously I'm with my mum, and I'm trying to help my mum. So what was it that I was looking at? Eucalyptus, good for the lungs. What else was it? Honey. Honey is an antibiotic, so I took some organic honey. I can't say the word. Manuka honey in today for her to give her a bit more energy. Do you know what I mean? So, and now they're like turning the tables on her. Just disgusting. Absolutely disgusting what I witnessed today. Fucking disgusting. 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 It's always after the night shift when I go in that she has problems in there, and she tells me the problems. You know what I mean? Look, Rich, they took bloods out of my wrong arm when I was asleep. Look, and I'm like, why have you took bloods out of my wrong arm? Why have you done this? Oh, sorry. It's like, yeah, but we found that her levels were wrong and all that. Like, yeah, but you're in the wrong arm. Why are you doing it without permission? We had this discussion yesterday. You were going to put a long needle in to do permanent blood withdrawals, so she didn't have to keep going through pain. Then they wouldn't even give her bloody methadone to help with the needle. He's in such a rush to do it. Do you know what I mean? Before he left, and he was smirking all the time, just smirking, and I'm like crying. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, it's my mum. Look, she's not coherent to say yes to that. You know what I mean? And you need to do another bloods, and she needs her Morahol. I don't know what it's called. It's a methadone thing or some that drug, you know, the super painkiller thingy. You know what I mean? She needs that in her arm while you do that. And then they forced me out of the room and shut the curtain on her, so I couldn't see anything. And the security guards were like, one of them was nice, the other one was just being, you know, no offense to anybody, but the way I just been treated and the way my mum's getting treated is not cool. And it's frustrating me. Never give up, people. Come on, where is it going? Maybe now? Down here somewhere. So you've been streaming in, Mr. Ryan, or not? I've been trying to get my mum home so I can do some like natural antibiotics on her. Do you know what I mean? I found there's some like loads of YouTube videos I've been watching that there's different sort of things you can put, and I'm thinking, well, she struggles to eat, so I got to find something that I can put in her. I was going to look up the mushrooms again to see what they're like for the lungs, because I took mushrooms for my liver. There's certain mushrooms that are good for your liver. Maybe there have been some mushrooms good for her lungs, you know what I mean? And I was going to go and do some more research. I found out about Manuka honey. Garlic's a good antibiotic. Ginger, I think, is as well. I'm just going to try some stuff from my mum. Just wanted to get her home and out of there, because she wanted out. So all she wants is out. Doesn't want to be there. And I'm the only one there trying to care for her. And they just pushing me around, not letting me have a part of her healthcare. Bullying my mum into saying yeah to things, basically. Why did I pick the big one, people? Let's do the flat edge. Do. Stay positive. Getting a bit better now. Once you get a few pieces in, it starts getting a little bit more. Come on, Mum. Come on, Mum. Don't let them beat you. Don't let them beat you. I won't let them beat me. You don't let them beat you. My mum's never give up attitude is... I thought I had an amazing one. And I've just seen my mum, what my mum's been going through in that hospital. All the needles they've been sticking in her wrong arm and standing on her feet. Waking her up all night long. And she never ever got angry once. She told me, obviously, but she never said anything. She touched their hands. Hello, my love. It's alright, my love. You know what I mean? Thank yous and all this. And then they just don't give a shit, some of them. Some doctors have a beating heart. Nurses have a beating heart. They do it for the empathic reason. And other doctors do it for the power. Do you know what I mean? And sadly, I think I got those today. Again. So... My mum deserves more than the treatment she's received. Do. I spent 7 years away from my family. And I finally got the... I've finally gone home, and then now this is an immediate thing that's happening within like 6 weeks. You know what I mean? I was getting her on her vitamin D at home. I was getting her on doing some Qigong, doing so much. No worries, mate. You carry on, mate. I'm just doing this for my mum. You know, putting some stuff out there that I've witnessed today because I don't want to forget it. So I've put it on the stream. It's a bit of because if I do want to complain and I want to take some up further. I've got this stream to where I've said stuff on here. Do you know what I mean? Plus, I'm doing it in a positive mindset to do something creative for my mum, to maybe manifest something for my mum, to give her, you know, what she deserves, a chance, you know, a chance at some life, you know. She's been suffering for so long. She deserves some life. Do you know what I mean? Now, especially when I'm home. I'm now home with my 2 sons, her grandsons, and I would love her to be able to see us, to all, you know, be together, you know. And see some good times. That's all I want. Help my mum. Help my family. I'm like my mum, see that? I'm sensitive, empathic in a way. I'm not perfect, you know what I mean? I spent quite a few years of my life using booze to hide my sensitivities, which I thought was weaknesses, but I don't realise that they're now they are actually superpowers. A lot of these people that they can be jealous of somebody who's sensitive, you know, it's just the way of the world, you know. Some people are jealous of other people because they've got something they haven't got, you know. I don't understand it, you know. I've been jealous of some people in the past, like, oh, you're so hard. Do you know what I mean? How are you so hard? In a manly thing, do you know what I mean? And I spent so long worrying about that sort of stuff when I realised I'm sensitive, so what? That's a good thing. It means I can help people. That means that I got time. I got heart beating inside of me. That means that I can help my mum. I can care for my mum. I can care for my family. I can care for somebody who's walking down the street, you know, if they're in trouble or whatever, you know? That's a good thing. That's not a weakness. I thought it was a weakness in the past. It's not a weakness. That's a strength, people. That's a superpower. Do you know what I mean? I'm not ashamed that I'm sensitive or caring or empathic. Do you know what I mean? In any way. I used to be. I used to try and desensitize myself by watching, like, what do you call it? Bear fight knuckles and all this stuff on the YouTube, just trying to get used to people getting punched in the face and just trying to desensitize myself. Or I use booze, you know, to try and be manly or whatever, and I just realized I'm sensitive, so, or empathic. I'm not sure if I'm totally empathic or if I'm highly sensitive, or I'm sensitive stroke a bit of empathic, because I have a good intuition. I've realized that my gut feelings are always right. That's why today I stood up for my mum as much as I could, because it didn't feel right in my gut what was happening. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I put that more effort in today, and the security had to be called, because they were just trying to get permission off my mum, basically. They wanted me out of the way, so they had to escalate things to make me look bad. So one of the security guards was alright, don't get me wrong. The other one wasn't horrible, but you could see he was you know, you could just see it wasn't going to be on my side. The other one was a little bit on my side. You could see it. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he's worked there a long time. He's probably seen things like this quite a few times in there, and he's got a beating heart inside of him. So fair play to you, wherever you are, buddy. But no hatred to the other one. Don't get me wrong. So, Mum. Come on, Mum. She was looking a bit better today. She improved yesterday. I've been giving her bananas for a couple of days now, and kiwis and grapes and berries, because I learned they were good for the lungs and blood flow or something. So I've been purposely buying that, and she's been improving a little bit. Do you know what I mean? She ain't perfect, but she's been improving, and then all of a sudden they're in a rush to do this to her today. Do you know what I mean? And they've took bloods when she's asleep, out of the wrong arm. It's just all just so pushy, bully. There was bully tactics involved. They were saying one thing, then changing the way they said it. And I said, well, you just said that you were going to do bloods out of that arm, and now I've just spoke to my dad, and he said that they don't need to take bloods out of that arm. And you know what I mean? They just keep moving the goalposts, I call it. They keep moving the goalposts. Do you know what I mean? Say one thing, and then they change what they said to try and then they try and use big words to confuse you. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not. So yeah, cod liver. I was taking them for a bit. I started eating fish instead. You know, I try and eat a bit of fish. You know, a couple of times a week, maybe a piece of fish. They're obviously, like, what do they call it? Wild caught fish is the best fish for you. But some frozen fishes are alright, as long as it's got omega-3s in it, and all that. It's good for you. You know what I mean? I've learned a lot about food. I never used to know this about food. I was just I want a couch potato, but I was a soda drink, you know, soft drinks, fizzy drinks, smoking, drinking, chocolate. Do you know what I mean? I might have the odd kebab. I'm not going to say any names, could get in trouble. Takeaways, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Now I realise the power of food. You know, I now I'm very wary of what I put in my body, basically. I try and do a lot of organic stuff, but you can't always get organic. And sometimes the organic's not actually organic. It's kind of a bit scammed up, you know what I mean? But I got to do whatever I got to do to stay alive, because I want to have a life with my family. My mum included. So I always put good stuff in my body to give me the best chance possible to stay alive on this planet as long as possible, baby. God willing, universe willing, angels willing, we will get this opportunity. But never give up, no matter what. Never give up, no matter what. Do. Does that go there on your own or not? I reckon that goes up there myself. Oh my gosh! Like I said, no matter what goes on, never give up, people. I'm prepared for the worst, but I'm hoping for the best. My mum deserves a lot. Everybody's going to say that about my mum. About their mum, sorry. But, you know what I mean. My mum is practically never hit me in my life. My mum has only shouted at me once, and that's when I had depression and I wasn't getting up, and she was like, "You're or whatever, your kids, be a man," or whatever. That was the only time I remember her shouting at me. And once when I was a kid, I was swearing too much, and I think she was going to wash my mouth out with washing up liquid or soap. I can't remember, or she did. I can't remember. That's it. That's the three things I remember in my life. Do you know what I mean? And I've been alive for nearly 50 years. So, and all I want to do is protect my mum and look after her. Certain things have stopped me going home the last 7 years. I've been trying to go home, but certain blockages keep appearing in my life, which makes it hard for me to go home. My health kept deteriorating, and I kept fighting back and putting more organics in me and more nutrients in me and meditations and yogas and loads of stuff I've took on board. Raising me vibration. I've done the Bible as well. I've done the Dalai Lama book, vibration books, so much stuff I've done now. Never give up, people. There's always a way. Oh my gosh, why can't I find this piece? What a bot. Must be that one. This for you, Mum. You deserve some life. Still, you deserve some life with your family. I've done some of these videos before, but I keep privatising them because I think I'm getting in trouble in the background. I'm not privatising this one. This one's for my mum. This is for my family. This is for you, Mum. For you, Mum. Why didn't it give me a flat one? Just to make it a bit easier, innit? Hello, Repu. How are you, buddy? The streams for my mum. My mum's kind of being forced into something she don't really want to do because she's not coherent. So I'm here making this for her, praying for her in my mind, so I can have a life with my mum and all my family for as much time as we can have. Do. And I'm not privatising this one. I've privatised a lot of things on this stream to protect other people. This one's not being privatised. This one's staying out there. I've said some stuff on my streams a few times that have been truth things, and I've deleted them thinking, oh, I don't want to get in trouble, or I don't want to get somebody else in trouble. And this one's staying up, baby. Never give up, people. No matter what. This is for you, Mum. You're gonna make it. We're gonna have a life. Hold on. I love you, Mum. I'm not staying out there. You're not scaring me into deleting another one. And I got 2 that I privatized the other day. So they'll be coming public as well. Sometimes you got to make a stand. People can do what they want to me, and I can put up with it. But I won't see things done to my family. So, never give up, people. I'm not. My mum certainly hasn't. Do you know what I mean? She's an absolute, absolutely amazing. Amazing. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely amazing. Cancer, COPD, now TB, tuberculosis. The treatment I've seen her take in that hospital has been disgusting. And she didn't ever complain. She told me, obviously, but she never complained. She was always kind and friendly to him. She deserves more than what she's got in there. So, love you, Mum. I'm going to come back and see you now. And I'm going to come home. No matter what's happening and what happens, I'm coming home. Because I've got 2 kids. Alright? So anyway, thanks for watching, anybody. Bit of a weird one, but I got to put it out there for my mum. Alright? And I'm fed up of privatising these things I do. You know what I mean? Because I'm worried that, something bad will happen because it's my fault and this one's staying out there. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for any kind comments. Thank you, mate. See you later, guys. Have fun. Yeah? Remember, new year, new start. Yeah? Whatever's going on, don't ever give up and get back up and try again. Yeah? Every day's a new day. Every day the sun comes up is a new day. The past is the past. Catch you later, people. Have fun. I'm going to go back to and see with my mum. And, it's hard to keep watching her be treated the way she's being treated in there. And I had to get away this time because I got no control. I can't help her. And it's frustrating me to shit. So I'm going back to see how my mum's doing and whatever. Just pray for my mum, people. I appreciate it. See you later. Happy New Year.